Hello, welcome to Data Focused Assessment and Evaluation. I'm Scott Wyndham and I'll be your instructor for this class. You will get a video update like this posted in Canvas each week. I typically will post these on Sunday prior to the week starting. This week I'm doing it a little bit early because it's Labor Day weekend and I'm heading out of town and won't have great internet access. So I'm going to post this on Saturday morning, but typically I'll put this on the website on Canvas sometime Sunday afternoon, Sunday evening to kind of start off the week. So you can expect to get a video like this. They're typically 15 minutes, 10-15 minutes, and I really just try to kind of set up the week and what you're going to be working on this week to give you an idea of what you can expect and answer any questions that I think you might have with the information that's going to be coming up in the week ahead. So I mentioned I just posted on the discussion post a little bit about me, and I told you that I have two daughters. These are my daughters. That's Abigail on the left. She's a freshman at Avon High School, and then Adeline is in the middle. That's my 7th grader. She is they both of them play volleyball, and I mentioned that in my intro video that they're both involved in their school volleyball teams and club volleyball teams. So right now we're in school season and our life is volleyball. Pretty much when they're not in school, they're either practicing or playing a game that keeps us very busy. Then my wife Autumn is a school psychologist, so she works for Plainfield Schools, which is also a suburb here around Indianapolis. So as we talk about some assessment issues, there are times when I go to her because she's a great resource as a school psychologist that's involved in evaluating students and determining their eligibility for special education. So I told you more about my background in the brief introduction video, so I won't go into that, but just to give you a little bit, I have my bachelor's from Indiana University in secondary social studies education. Then I went and got my master's from Indiana State. My master's is in special education, where I got a teaching endorsement in special education for students with learning disabilities and emotional disabilities. And then from there I went on to Ball State University, where I worked on my Director of Special Education license, my Superintendent's license, and got my doctorate from Ball State University. And then I work at Avon School Corporation, which is about 10,000 students on the west side of Indianapolis. But I talked a little bit more about that in my intro video. So let me tell you a little bit about the expectations for this class. I really have come to like teaching fully online courses, and I didn't think that I would. Prior to teaching for Olivet, I had taught a class at IUPUI here in Indianapolis that was a hybrid class, and I thought that was really what I wanted to teach when I taught courses for universities, was something that was hybrid. But I have really come to like the online class, and part of it is because of the tools that are available in Canvas and some things that Olivet does that I think are a little bit unique. One of the things that I struggle with teaching a fully online class is that I don't get to interact with you as much as I would like if we were coming together, even as we would in a hybrid class. So I do think in a fully online class you have more responsibility to let me know how I can help you. I can't get from you what I might be able to get from you in a in-person class. So I do think there's more responsibility on you to let me know if there's something that I can do to make this class more valuable for you. That's what I want, is at the end of this class I want you to really feel like this class helped you as a teacher. And if there's something that I can do to assist with that, I need you to tell me that. I will reach out to you a couple of times during the semester and just check on you and see individually if there's something that you need. Don't wait until the course evaluation to give me some of that feedback. If there's something that we can do now, I'd rather know that now. One thing that I do like to do in these videos is highlight some of the things that you've submitted. So as I'm grading things each weekend, if there are pieces where I feel like one of you says something that I really like or highlights something from our course material that I think is presented in a really great way, I will share that. So I just wanted to give you that heads up. I think that's a great way that we can learn from each other. I know we do that in the discussion post, but sometimes I think when I grade something, the rest of the class would benefit from this, and so I do tend to share that. Be present and engaged. Being involved in Canvas, being tuned in to those discussion posts is really important. As I said in my intro video, I'm assistant superintendent here in our school district, so my week is pretty crazy. I tend to do most of my work for this class on the weekends because I typically have meetings in the evenings, and my days are pretty packed, just like yours are in the classroom. And so I do tend to focus most of my work grading and uploading information on the weekends, but I will be present and engaged in the class throughout the week, and so I expect that you would do the same as well. Communication, email is the best way to get a hold of me. You can do that through my Olivet email, or you can also post in the messaging part of Canvas. I will check email every day, so if you put something there, I will get back with you as soon as possible. Assignments, grading, feedback, the best thing you can do is look over those rubrics. As I said, I do most of my grading on the weekend, so it may be, if you submit things on Sunday, it may be until the following weekend until you get that feedback. But I do think the rubrics that are posted in Canvas are key. That's what I'm using as I'm grading. So if you look at those rubrics and address everything that's listed there, you're going to do just fine. Late policies, I really expect there's plenty of time to get these things done that are posted in Canvas, so I expect things to be completed on time. If there is some kind of family emergency and those things come up, just let me know and we can work through that. But in general, I think the timelines are pretty fair to be able to get things completed. The clinical experience log that you will see, it's posted in Module 1. These are things, if you have questions about what kind of things you want to reflect on the clinical experience log, please reach out to me. I do see those. Those are not just doing the things from this class. That's not just completing the work. That is, I'm looking for what things are you doing in your school, in your classroom, that are extending the learning from this class. So are you presenting at staff meetings? Are you talking with your principal about some of the things that you're learning? Maybe you've got an instructional coach or something like that in your building that you can talk through. How am I assessing students? What could I be doing differently? What am I learning in this class? What feedback do you as a colleague have for me that could help me grow in how I'm assessing kids? And so I've had people before turn in their clinical experience log, and it is just doing the work for the class, and that's not what I view that as. I view this as, how are you extending the information? How are you applying the information in a clinical setting? So if you have questions about that, I'm more than willing to answer those. So let's get started. A few things about this class. Don't get too far ahead. I have put information into Module 1, and I started to do some things in Module 2. The reading assignments will not change, so if you have some time and you want to begin reading ahead, you can certainly do that. Those won't change, and the assignments won't change. So you can certainly look at assignments and start to get a good idea of what's coming ahead and even start working on them. The thing I would tell you is the course content and the presentation may change as we go through the course. So there is some information in each of the modules, but I also change that depending on how things are going in the class, or if there are certain things that I think we need to hit harder, I will put those in. So you'll see that, again, the Sunday before, I'll send out a video like this to let you know that the module's ready to go. But things will change in each module as we go through the course. So you've got a few things that that are either due this week or that I wanted to just give you a little snippet about. There's a video that's uploaded that's called About Assessment, where it really talks about formative assessment and how one of the things that it seems like we do that's just a part of our educational culture now is we boil assessment down to one single grade or one single test score. Really thinking about assessment in a different way. Assessment is something that we're doing all the time with our students. And yes, we have to come up with some summative assessments to capture learning, but also we've got those formative assessments that are happening throughout the school day to help guide us in our instruction. So I really like that video. The other video really talks about higher order thinking and how do students demonstrate knowledge in different ways, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more at the end of this video, thinking about flexible instruction. You'll hear me talk about that a lot throughout this course, and particularly universal design for learning. How are we giving students multiple opportunities, multiple means to demonstrate their knowledge to us? And I think this video lays some great groundwork for that, particularly thinking about our assessments in terms of how much of our assessment is just that lower order thinking, just basic rote knowledge, versus how much of our assessment is really challenging students to that higher order of thinking. One of the things that you'll hear in the video that I like is Google allows their employees to have 20% of their time where they can spend thinking and working on things that interest them. How can we embed that same kind of higher order creative thinking into our classroom instruction and our assessments? So this week you have the intro video, which is real quick, 2-minute video. You've also got a discussion and response in assignment 2 that I think is pretty self-explanatory. And then assignment 3, we are getting you started working towards your final project. So this basically is asking you to choose what kind of technological tool that you are going to use for your final project and tell me why. So you'll find each week the content leads you to, and there's typically an assignment helping you get to the end with that final project. So it's not going to sneak up to you. It's not going to sneak up on you in week 8. We're going to work towards that over each module. So this video I find, oh, you can't read it because my picture's there. Okay, let's move that. So I like this comic. Our current education system, for a fair selection, everybody has to take the same exam. Please climb that tree. Maybe you've seen this before, and I also like the Einstein quote. How many times do we do that? We have students with so many different needs, so many different strengths, and yet we assess them in one way. And so when we talk about a flexible assessment and giving students multiple ways to represent to us that they understand the content that we're teaching, this idea we will come back to regularly, that just because they can't perform on the assessment the way that we've given it to them doesn't mean that they don't have the knowledge, doesn't mean that they don't have the skills. So what we will work on over this course is trying to find some other ways that we can assess our kids and truly get a better understanding of their capabilities and their content mastery of what we're teaching. I mentioned universal design for learning. I'll come back to this over the course of the class, but I just wanted to at least familiarize you with this term. An environment that is universally designed for learning shows students there are multiple ways to be successful, multiple ways to solve problems, and multiple ways to learn from mistakes. And so really in UDL, we're talking about presenting information in flexible ways, in multiple ways. We're talking about assessing students in multiple ways to make sure we have a strong understanding of their skills, and presenting the information in ways that meets a diverse class of learners. And so as we know, our classrooms are full of students with all kinds of different strengths and weaknesses, and how we tap into that is key, and that's what makes us good teachers. So we will spend more time talking about this content, but I wanted to at least put the term out there if you hadn't heard of UDL, because it will come out multiple times throughout this course. So that's it. You can get started on the course content. As I said, feel free to reach out to me if you have any questions, and I look forward to working with you over the course of the next 8 weeks. Thanks a lot.